Alrighty, everybody. Good morning, evening, or afternoon, wherever you're joining us from. We are super excited to welcome you to this virtual campus tour of UC Berkeley. We're going to get started in the next couple of minutes, so please feel free to just kind of trickle in as you will, and you'll hear me get started in the next 30 seconds. We're super happy to have you here today. Welcome to UC Berkeley virtually. Alrighty, everybody. Welcome to UC Berkeley. My name is Ethan. I use he, him, el pronouns, and I will be your moderator for this virtual visit today. I'm accompanied by two tour guides who you're going to meet in a minute, but we will first want to begin by just welcoming you to UC Berkeley and answering this poll for us that will pop up on your screen super quickly. Are you maybe admitted student or parent? Are you waitlisted? Are you currently at a community college? Are you currently a high school student or maybe even middle school? Are you a school teacher, a counselor, maybe an alumni? We'd love to hear it. Alrighty. Wow. All right. We got really great participation today. All right. Wow. A lot of enthusiastic people here. We have 100% participation rate. That is super, super exciting. We're going to go ahead and end the poll right now and share the results. So we have a lot of prospective students today, which we're super excited for. But congratulations to all of our admitted and waitlisted folks that are joining us today. We are super excited to have you here. A couple folks from community college as well, but we have a wide variety of folks here today, and we are just so, so excited to welcome you virtually to UC Berkeley. We'll go to the next slide. Alrighty, just some quick logistics regarding this virtual visit. This will be roughly a 45-minute presentation. Please make sure you type all questions in the Q&A. This will be a live Q&A that we will have also at the end. So please make sure you type all your questions there and they can be answered either at the back end by some of our ambassadors on the back end side, but also in a live Q&A session with our two tour guides and myself at the end. We have disabled the chat feature for that reason. So please make sure you place all your questions inside of there. This will be also a presentation with a mix of interactive polls, as you saw previously on the last slide. So please make sure that you interact with us because we love to just get to know you all throughout this visit. And if you want to see other virtual visits that maybe include myself or our other tour guides available here today, you can actually find recordings of that available on the visit.berkeley.edu website or on the Visit UC Berkeley YouTube channel. This will be a campus overview, an overview of our university and the campus from the student perspective. There will be no technical information regarding financial aid or the admissions office during this presentation. The Office of Undergraduate Admissions, or OUA, offers its own specific admissions presentations that you are able to make an RSVP for. So if you have any specific admissions questions, you're more than welcome to answer that, and we're able to answer them from the student perspective. But for any specific admissions related questions, it's best that you contact directly our Office of Undergraduate Admissions. And then lastly, we will end with a Q&A. We will do our best to answer all your questions live, but again, please use that Q&A feature all throughout the tour so that you're able to get all your lovely questions answered by some of our ambassadors on the back end or us at the front end as well. Without a further ado, I'm actually going to turn it over to our two amazing tour guides to introduce themselves.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nadine, and my pronouns are she, her. I am from Sacramento, California, and my major is architecture. And yeah, I'm actually loving it. And I'm going to be graduating as class of 2028. And other than being campus ambassador, I also am part of Air Force ROTC. That's basically just learning about Air Force life and Air Force officer life. And also, I'm also part of another admissions ambassador under my College of Environmental Design, which we will be actually talking about later.
All right, hello. It's great to meet you all. My name is Mai-An. My pronouns are she, her, and I am from Oakland, California. If you are unfamiliar, that is Berkeley's southern neighbor. So I grew up super close to campus. This is my first year at UC Berkeley, and I am class of 2028, and I am studying social welfare and art history. Some of the ways I'm involved on campus are through the nationwide nonprofit Ballet and Books, which works to bridge the literacy gap through a love of dance. And I'm also participating in research with the Department of Linguistics here at Cal. All right, I'm going to start us off by talking a little bit about what we're going to cover today. We're going to start off with history and culture, then we will move on to academics. After academics, we'll cover housing and dining and health and safety. Next, we'll do student resources, student life, athletics, and we'll finish off with libraries and research. This picture here that you see on your right is of our West Crescent entrance, which is on the west side of campus and has our university's name.
And we will be going over history. So basically, Berkeley was founded in 1868. It is the very first University of California, hence the name Cal. You're going to see it a lot. And we're also known as Berkeley. So, two names there, but it's all in one. Also, our mascot is based off of a golden bear, and his name is Oski. That photo on the top left you're seeing there, that is Oski. Especially, you're going to see him a lot on campus, and hopefully do come here over Cal Day. You're going to see him a lot as well. He loves to dance, and honestly, whenever I see him, it's like a celebrity sighting. And for a student body, as of fall 2024, we have around 33,000 undergraduate students, and that's an additional like 12,812 graduates. So the combined is about like 45,000 to 46,000 like student body population here. And some of the campus landmarks here are going to be like seeing, we have a plethora of campus landmarks. So on that top right you're seeing there, that is a campanile. That is our bell and clock tower. It is the second tallest bell and clock freestanding bell and clock tower in the world, and it is free for students and also admitted students. So you can just share your admissions letter and you can actually go in there. And also that like building on the very bottom left, that is South Hall. That is actually the very first building here on campus that was built exactly here on the Berkeley grounds. And yeah, we didn't move here until 1873 actually, but yeah, 1868 is our founding day and year. And last but not least, that structure you're seeing on the very bottom right, that is Sather Gate. That was built by John Galen Howard around the 1900s, 1910s. And yeah, that was dedicated to Peter Sather, basically Jane K. Sather's late husband. So a lot of photos happening around here as well. You can take photos there, for, especially for your graduation photos too. So pretty cool.
All right, thank you so much, Nadine. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about culture on campus. For one, we have our Changemakers program, which really emphasizes Berkeley's history of free speech and activism, and is really a great option for passionate and involved students or people who are interested in entrepreneurship, research, and innovation. We have a really wonderful community here at Cal. There's tons of school spirit and pride. Like, for example, we have the Axe Rally every single year, which takes place before our big game against our rivals, Stanford. There are also tons of other campus traditions, like, for example, the Campanile, which is our clock and bell tower, has certain songs that it'll play at certain times of year. Personally, as a student, I found everything to be super welcoming and diverse, and there is such a huge range of students here. I think that Berkeley's size is one of our biggest assets, and because of the size, you really get a chance to find your own niche and find a space for everyone. Also, just touching on these photos here, on the upper left, you can see the associated students of the University of California, which is our student government. They're campaigning there. On your upper right, you can see Sather Gate, which was a landmark during our free speech movement. On the bottom left, you can see Pride from 2019. And lastly, on the bottom right is our rally committee, who are kind of in charge of maintaining school spirit and hosting all of our rallies.
And we will be also going over academics and our undergraduate colleges. So before I start talking about it, I'd like you to answer this poll that's going to go up in your screen right now. And I want to see what kind of colleges you're interested in. All right, I'm seeing a lot of engineering and social sciences right now. Yeah, just give it a couple more seconds. And I think everyone has submitted their answer. Good job, everyone. So it is 100% answered by everyone here. And as you can see, social sciences wins by like about 2. And also, yeah, so both physical sciences and engineering has around 29% of persons interested in it. And biological sciences is a follow-up. And yeah, it's pretty much around the spectrum around here. Pretty cool. So yeah, I'm just gonna go over like all the undergraduate colleges we have. So starting off with the College of Letters and Sciences, this is our biggest college yet. And as you can see on the poll, it is also like one of the largest, like, like percentage out of all everyone here participating in the Zoom right now. So yeah, this is our largest college. It has around like 3/4 of the student body population, just undergraduate. So that does show that it is the biggest college just because it has a plethora of majors available there. So they do have 65 plus majors available. So if you're not sure about what major you want to do yet, it is totally fine. So yeah, actually, there's like basically the humanities and the sciences included in this college, hence the name Letters and Sciences. So we have like applied mathematics, physics, astrophysics, sociology, legal studies, and so much more. So I would encourage you to look into this college if you're not sure about what major to do yet, because we do have a plethora of them in here. And we have nextly Rausser College of Natural Resources. This is definitely like, smaller than Letters and Sciences, but still quite large. It has around 2,700 students in here so far in this school year, and they offer a lot of like, like majors you're interested in about like, the body, the biology. So I do know a lot of people who are interested in pre-med would go to this school. So let's just talk about the majors right now. So there is nutritional sciences in here. There's environmental sciences as well. So there is also the environmental aspect. And we also have microbial biology, and so much more. So definitely like worth checking out as well. And they also offer like a undergraduate research program through Spur. So this is called a Spur sponsored project for undergraduate research. So this is a great way for you as a student here in Rausser to really integrate your ideas and also like learn more about your career path in the future while also doing hands-on work. And nextly, we have environmental design. So this is actually the smallest college here in Berkeley. This has around 650 students just for undergraduate. I think including like graduate students, it's around 800, but it's still quite small. We do share the building with the graduate students as well. But yeah, it being small, like it's definitely a perk just because I get to interact more with my counselors and my professors too. I would just see them walk around the hallways and say hi. But let's talk about the majors we have. So there's only 4 majors in the College of Environmental Design. There is architecture, which I have, landscape architecture, urban studies, and sustainable environmental design. So a lot of those design aspects in here and very, very interdisciplinary. So it's not just architecture. And yeah, we actually do have a #1 architecture program for public undergraduate colleges in the nation. So definitely a lot of those like ideas in there being implemented by students rather than just focusing on the industry standards. So a lot of like hands-on freedom in there as well. So I would recommend checking it out. And nextly, we have the College of Chemistry. This is also like quite small, but it has around 1,000 students. So yeah, not the smallest one, but it's still small. And you also do get a lot of this like, interaction with your peers. And just a preface, having a small college doesn't like deter you from really accessing the wider like resources Berkeley has. So all these colleges do share all the resources Berkeley has. So just a preface for that. But yeah, chemistry only has 3 majors actually, and you gotta specify your major for this college actually. That goes to also the Rausser and environmental design. You gotta specify your majors. So yeah, chemistry only has chemical engineering, chemical biology, and chemistry. So yeah, if you've taken chemistry in high school yet or you have taken it, so if you're aware of the Lewis dot structures, this is actually where it was discovered, like in our introductory like chemistry class. So Professor Gilbert Lewis discovered the Lewis dot structures as a way to really represent that chemical bond structure for students to use. And we also did discover 16 of the elements from the periodic table. So very cool. This professor actually discovered about 10 of them. His name is Professor Seaborg. He even named like one of them after himself, Seaborgium. So if you do go to this college, definitely go and name your one after yourself as well. So yeah, I'm actually gonna go over this slide. I do forget. So yeah, this is letters and science right here. So yeah, this is the majors right here as well. And Rausser College of Natural Resources. So there are 9 majors including here. Environmental design, and Yeah, as I mentioned, this is pretty small, one of the smallest colleges. It has around 650 students, and that building you're seeing here actually is the Bauer Worcester Hall. It is based off a brutalist design here, and it's pretty cool. A lot of students do actually interact with their studio space here. And yeah, actually, would you like to talk more about the chemistry and also the other colleges?
Oh, thank you so much, Nadine. I'll take it over from here. Our College of Chemistry, like Nadine mentioned, has about 1,000 students and 3 majors, which are chemistry, chemical engineering, and chemical biology. And again, going over engineering, which is another one of our founding colleges. It emerged from the colleges of mining and mechanics. It has 11 majors and also has a program in partnership with our Haas School of Business, which we will cover as well.
And yeah, and last but not least, I know, sorry, I skipped over some of the slides, but this is actually the last college we have. This is the Computing Data Science and Society, CDSS, and this is the newest college we've had in the last 50 years. So it only also has 3 majors in here, which is computer science, data science, and statistics. It has around 1,500 students, and yeah, actually, it's also like a pretty growing, like a lot of students are already in this class as well. And as you can see on that image on the top right there, that is their new building that's being built in campus. And that's going to be hopefully opening up next school year. But it is already, yeah, pretty fast. Like they just started building it actually last school year when the school was announced like last year. And it will be pretty cool if you do get into this college. You will have a really nice building waiting for you right there.
All right, like I mentioned, there is a Haas School of Business and Engineering partnership, but I'm going to cover the school itself first. Our Haas School of Business is the second oldest business school in the country, only second to the Wharton School of Business at the University of Pennsylvania. And it is also the only major business school to have been funded by a woman, who is Cora Jane Flood, who made the initial donation for the study of commerce. There are 3 different pathways into the Haas School of Business as an undergraduate, which are our Speaker Undergraduate Business Program, which is a 4-year program. So you would apply directly from high school into this 4-year program. We also have a 2-year business major. So students typically start off as a student in the College of Letters and Science, and they'll do some prerequisites pretty similar to an econ major. Then at the beginning of their sophomore year, they will apply into our Haas School of Business and receive notice if they were accepted in by the end of their sophomore year. After that, they'll spend the last 2 years of their degree in our Haas School of Business, finishing their business major. Lastly, the last pathway into Haas as an undergraduate is that as a transfer student, you can directly apply into our 2-year business major program. I also want to highlight 2 other programs Haas has, one of which is our program for management, entrepreneurship, and technology, which is a partnership between our College of Engineering and Haas School of Business. There is also a partnership between the business school and our biology department, which is the Robinson Life Science Business and Entrepreneurship Program, which works on combining the study of life science with the study of business and commerce. I also want to point out these pictures here. These are all of our beautiful Haas campus. Here on the left, there is a picture of the whole School of Business. And then on the right, you can see some classrooms and a courtyard that is in the middle of the school.
And here are some of our graduate schools. So we do have 9 graduate schools available. And just starting off with number 1, we did go over Haas School of Business. So this is also a graduate school that offers an undergraduate degree. The second one is the Graduate School of Education. So this also offers an undergraduate degree in educational sciences. So along with School of Business, this is an opportunity for many of the undergraduate students here as well. And just like briefly going over the other ones, we do have the School of Information, which on the very bottom right, you're going to see there, that is also South Hall that I mentioned. They do have this space of the very first building here on campus to take their home, call their home here on campus. And yeah, we have social welfare, optometry, journalism, public health, and public policy. And this note in the bottom, it does say like we also offer graduate degrees in all of the undergraduate schools we have. So yeah, that's not the graduate schools here, but these are really like high-end graduate schools that you can consider going after your undergraduate life here in Berkeley. So pretty cool.
All right, thank you so much, Nadine. I'm going to take this as an opportunity to cover housing and dining a little bit. For one, we have 7 wonderful residence halls provided by the university. They all are a little different and have something unique to offer. About 96% of our first years live in the residence halls, and we have doubles, triples, and suites available. There are also theme programs, so if you are interested in living with people who share a similar identity to you, that is always an option. And there are also theme programs that follow other themes like women in STEM, for example. Housing is guaranteed for the first year at Cal, regardless of if you are a transfer or coming straight out of high school, but there are a couple stipulations. You must fill out your housing application properly, which we will outline in a minute, but as long as you have selected any location and any room size as your last choice in your housing application, you will be guaranteed housing. When you apply for housing, you will have an opportunity to share a little bit about what you are like as a roommate. So for example, how late you might stay up or how messy or how hot or cold you like the room. And that information is used to pair you with a roommate. You can also select a roommate, or if you know someone who you already want to room with, you can connect your housing applications and ensure that you will stick together. After you fill out this information, there will be an option for you to rank 5 different choices for where you want to live and the type of room you want to have. The location will be the type of building you want. So whether you want one of our units or Clark Kerr or Foothill, and then the room size will be whether you want something like a double or a triple or a suite. As long as for your last option, you put any room size, any location, you will be insured to get your guaranteed housing. There's also a meal plan, which offers 300 flex dollars that can be used at on-campus convenience stores, restaurants, and for Grubhub. And then all students will get 14 meal swipes a week. These can be used for our buffet-style dining commons, and you can always, of course, upgrade your dining plan if you are interested to include more meal swipes or more flex dollars. Lastly, I want to touch on transfer and continuing student housing. There are many options for that as well. For example, we have our Helen Diller Anchor House, which is only for transfer students, and there are other dorms and apartments that are allocated for continuing students as well. On top of that, about 11% of our student body participates in Greek life. So they live with their sororities or fraternities. And there's, of course, other private off-campus housing as well.
And more about our health and safety. I know someone might be worried about, how can I get my healthcare here on campus and will I be able to get that? So we do offer the student health insurance plan, also known as SHIP. So this is opted in for you already automatically as you sign up to be here as a student here in Berkeley, and the rest of actually all the UCs are on California. So this actually offers you to get like really cheap like copay and also just get like urgent care needs. So we do have a clinic here on campus. It's called Tank Center. It's on south of the campus, basically, south side. And this is very accessible in terms of like getting your medication, getting some over-the-counter medicine, getting some referrals, one-on-ones with a nurse, and so much more. I did try to talk to a nurse one time too, so it's very accessible. My wrist was hurting, so I would just like show up there or call them to get an appointment in. So that would be really like accessible as well. And we also do have counseling and psychological services, also known as CAP, CAPS. So that's basically your mental health service here on campus. And basically, if you're not like, you might be feeling like, oh, I really need to talk to someone, like, like maybe like midterm week is really stressful, or, sometimes as student, life just happens and you need someone to talk to. So we do have therapists here on campus available, and they are able to talk to you as well. You can just call them for an appointment as well, or go on their website and yeah, just get some like one-on-one care as well, because as students, life is very like, you got to juggle with academics and work, and also as a person. So these resources are here for you, and Berkeley does understand that, life does happen, and they're always available as well. And we also have Path to Care and Optometry Eye Center. And yeah, we have so many clinics here as well. So Optometry Eye Center is actually also another clinic where you can use your shift plan and get that care in and get your eyes checked out, also get some prescriptions as well. And last but not least, stress relief. There are so many outlets here on campus, especially your friends, and getting some, petting some pets here and there. So we do have Paws for Mental Health. I always see them on campus. They actually have like really cute golden retrievers that are just like really cute. They will actually let you pet them and stuff. And yeah, like literally they're just right there. They are always like, looking out for also students who can volunteer, but other than that, they're always there to, let them be petted. And also we do have Llama Palooza. So that happens during like our week, basically like our study week. We don't have class at all. That's the week preluding our finals week. And yeah, they just have llamas on the glade, and you can just pet some llamas. So you can see on that top right, that is actually a llama you can take a picture with, pet them and stuff. It's really cute. I haven't tried it personally, but I'm gonna try it this coming like, RRR week. So yeah, basically that's your reading recital recitation week, actually, just to study. So I'm gonna definitely try it out. So yeah. And I forgot, there is a poll, so please answer the poll. All right, okay, I'm gonna checking this. Oh, I'm seeing right now. So about 3/4 of you have answered. I'm seeing a lot of people are in Southern California. Anyone else from other places? All right, cool. About almost everyone. So yeah, a lot majority coming from Southern California, and coming up is Northern California with 10%. So yeah, it's pretty cool. A lot of people are from California and Eastern time zone, actually. A lot of you guys are coming from there as well. I think yeah, you're actually more than the Southern California people. So welcome, welcome, and thank you for joining us. There are 5 people from international, coming from international, so welcome. And about like 2 from the Central Time Zone. And yeah, so that's really cool. Also, I'm seeing the other people from the other Pacific Time Zone. So welcome, welcome. And yeah, it's really nice having you guys here. Thank you for joining the Zoom.
All right, thank you so much, Nadine. We are going to move on to staying safe on campus. There are several different campus safety services that help keep all of our students safe and sound, and I am going to go over them right now. First off, we have the University of California Police Department, or UCPD, and they have 64 officers that are located on campus and respond to all calls and dispatch. They are a really wonderful resource, and they also work in conjunction with the City of Berkeley's police department in investigations and to do patrols of the area around campus. Next, we have our blue light poles. There are over 100 of them around campus, and they have a big blue light on the top. You can press a button on them, and they will immediately alert UCPD dispatch and send someone your way. They also all have cameras around them and will be able to record in case you are in trouble. One of my other favorite safety services is Warn Me. Warn Me is a email or text-based service that lets you know whenever there is activity happening on campus that might be hazardous. So this can include things like criminal activity or burglaries, as well as things like natural disasters and other events. So for example, the other day, the lights in my dorm went out and we got a Warn Me notification about the power outage so that we knew that nothing was going seriously wrong. Another great thing about Warn Me is that anyone can opt into getting these alerts. So if you are a parent who is particularly worried about your child, you can stay updated and make sure that you have the latest information through our Warn Me service. Another great service we have is called SafeWalk. SafeWalk has uniformed and radioed officers who will walk you from wherever you are to wherever you are going. They work throughout the whole evening and night, and you can call them from a number that is located on your student ID. And there's also the Downtowner app where you can schedule someone to come and walk you to wherever you need to go. When SafeWalk is no longer available, as it closes around 3 a.m., the night safety shuttles take over. During the day, we have Bear Transit, which is a shuttle system that goes all around campus and to our other labs and other areas in the neighborhood. At night, they turn into our night safety shuttles, and between 3:30 a.m. and 5:30 a.m., they do door-to-door service. So through this app, the Downtowner app, you can schedule one of these shuttles to come directly to wherever you are, and it'll take you straight to your door at home. So another really great way to stay safe. For example, if you are someone who maybe has a final coming up and you're at the library and you are stuck there working and studying until 3 a.m., and you don't necessarily want to walk home alone, there is always a resource for you. I also want to highlight some of the images on this slide as well. On the upper left corner, there is the UCPD, and on the upper right corner is UCPD's Kids Day, which is where they help and engage with our community and our youth. On the bottom left is our community service officers who help with SafeWalk, and we also have on our lower right a picture of our Bear Transit shuttle.
All right, thank you, Mai-An. So yeah, we're actually going to go over student resources here. So we do offer a lot of plethora of resources, especially if you need some help. And yeah, a lot of these resources will help you out. So we do have identity and community services, including the Centers for Educational Justice and Community Engagement. So thinking about diversity here, they do help out like the diverse like student groups here on campus. And that is like an accessible resource here on campus as well. And these are all for free. So we also have the Associate Students of the University of California as well. That's the ASUC. So think about student government. This is definitely also like, to let your ideas be heard. And also we just actually had a election coming up, so if you need like to pass like a bill or something, and that would actually be a way for a lot of students to get involved with like student politics. And as a student, maybe you're interested in leadership as well, this is definitely a spot for you to shine as well. And we also have this transfer student center. So if you see that on the very top left, that is like where they are at. That's the transfer student center. So as a transfer, you can actually get that student help you need, and also get some representative here, and also just talk with a lot of like professionals and other students who have experienced the same process as you did, and just get that support as well. And we do have a documented students as well. If you go here on Cesar E. Chavez Student Center, a lot of our student centers are just located here. And we also have support and equity. So we do have disabled students program. So if you do need that accommodation, you can actually like go through the disabled students program, and just also get that support you need. Like a lot of people can actually like get some accommodations for classes that can also give you like a lot of time to do your exams or submit your assignments. I've definitely like looked into doing that as well. Just it's very helpful. And last but not least, basic needs centers. So if you need like a lot of basically basic needs, food, and a lot of just like that day-to-day life items that you need, this is a support center for you. And we have so many more like student centers here, and Berkeley is definitely here to serve the diverse student population coming from different backgrounds and experiences as well. So yeah, if you're seeing this on the like if you're seeing us on the campus, like just definitely check out our student resources here as well. So yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Nadine. Now I'm going to take this as an opportunity to touch a little bit more on student life. We have over 1,000 registered student organizations, many of which are managed by our associated students of the University of California. So they help manage funding and coordination with these student organizations. There are also tons of other volunteering opportunities all around campus. And another great way to become involved in student life is campus employment. For example, you can become a campus ambassador like myself and Nadine, or there are many other employment opportunities on campus, like working in our libraries, at the dining hall, or with residential life. We also have a Berkeley Career Engagement Center, which is a really great resource, especially for students who are about to graduate. On top of that, there are also really great opportunities for internships as a Berkeley student. We are in close proximity to both San Francisco and Silicon Valley, so it is a prime place to be if you're interested in any of those sectors like tech or Silicon Valley, of course. I also want to touch on study abroad. That is super popular among many of our students, and there are tons of different options. You can go pretty much anywhere you can imagine, and there are tons of options. For example, you can do it over the summer or for a semester or even for a year. Lastly, I want to touch on Bay Area exploration. There are so many wonderful things in the Bay Area that students can take advantage of. As someone who grew up here, I can say for a fact that I certainly have not exhausted all of the things to do here. And I know most students never will in their educational careers. This is a super diverse space, and there are tons of different interests and wonderful events all around Berkeley and the larger Bay Area. On top of that, we also have trails that go up the Berkeley Hills. So if you are someone who's interested in hiking or who is into nature, there are great options for you as well. I also want to touch a little bit on these photos. On the top left, we have a picture from our Golden Bear orientation, which is when all of our new students come and work together for a week and do different activities and become oriented with campus. On the upper right, we have a drone view of Golden Gate Park, which is a wonderful park in San Francisco that many students like to go to. On the bottom left, we have an image of Cal Band, which is our marching band. They practice traditional high-step marching, and they are a really wonderful part of campus spirit. They play at all of our football games and rallies, and I always love to see them. Lastly, on the lower right, we have Haas Youth Camp. Another great thing about Berkeley is there are tons and tons of different youth engagement activities. For example, for myself, I was part of IB Tech when I was a kid, which is a program UC Berkeley does to teach kids how to code. So there are tons of other opportunities to work with youth and get involved in our community.
All right, thank you, Mai-An. So I'm gonna go over athletics here. Our athletics is very, very like high end as well. So I'm just gonna mention we do have different levels of competition, starting with Division One at the ACC level. So that's the Atlantic Coast Conference. We just recently moved over to that, coming from like the Pac-12, which is basically the Pacific 12 Conference since 1915. So we did move to the ACC recently here around like 2023, 2024. And yeah, we also have club sports. So club sports is basically kind of like in high school. That's like, you're trying out for a sport. So yeah, you do compete, but it's also a very fulfilling sport, I would say. And you do go to different places, like here in state, possibly even out of state, out of the country. So this is definitely also something you can check out. So I'm just mentioning some of the sports we do have that like tennis, we do have like track and field and so much more. And yeah, just mentioning some of the photos here, you can see on the top left, that's actually like our football team. They're also a Division 1 sport, so you can purchase that like season pass and go watch them play against Stanford. Our very fun rivalry with them is really great to watch too. And also that photo on the bottom left, that's one of our Cal Swim swim team people. So it's really nice to see that as well. And Also, we do have a Division 1 basketball team here as well, as you can see on the bottom right there. So yeah, many more to come there. And I also like to mention intramural and recreational. So if you don't want to really compete and just want to relax with your friends and still, get that like competition in. So basically intramural and recreational sports are just there to have fun, and you can actually make teams with your friends. So we do have also 600 plus intramural sports available, and typically we would play in our one of our gyms, like the recreational and sports facility, RSF. But yeah, and we also have these multiple like stations for to where to what we watch our games. So California Memorial Stadium, as mentioned, is like our grand stadium. Seats around 63,000 students in there and people. Haas Pavilion is another one where the sports team like basketball or gymnastics will be at. And mentioning recreational sports facility, that's where basically, you can actually go there for free and get some games in as well. And last but not least, Olympic medals. We have around 246 like so far, especially when we joined like the Olympics last year. So we have earned 246, and that would actually make us number 12 among globally if we were our own country.
Thank you, Nadine. Now I'm going to touch a little bit on libraries and research. There are tons of libraries all over campus, and we have over 20 of them with over 14 million volumes. Every library has a little bit something different to offer, so I highly recommend visiting all of them. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about research. There are tons of other opportunities for research, including but not limited to our undergraduate research apprenticeship program, which pairs students with professors who are conducting research on campus. I'm personally a part of this program, and that is how I got involved conducting research with the linguistics department. There are also lots of opportunities within specific departments or majors, so always have an eye out for those if you are someone who is interested in research.
Right, thank you, Mai-An. So just some of our famous alumni and professors. So on the top left, starting from there, that's Stephen Chu. He graduated in 76, and he actually was the former U.S. Secretary of Energy. And we have nextly Jennifer Doudna, Dr. Jennifer Doudna. She won a 2020 Nobel Prize in Chemistry. If you've heard about on the news about like, woolly mammoth mice, like that was done by the machine she worked on actually, the CRISPR Gene9 Cas machine, and basically just gene editing there. That's really cool. And we also have Beverly Cleary, graduated here in 38. She was a children's book author. If you know, Ramona Quimby is one of the books here as well. And Chris Pine graduated here in 2002. He is an actor in Star Trek and also Wonder Woman. Love him. And also we have Janisha Adams Ginyard graduating in 2005. She is also an actress and stunt woman, and she was Dora Milaje in Black Panther. And also we have Steve Wozniak, who graduated in 1986. He is the co-founder of Apple Inc. And he also graduated from the College of Engineering as well. So really cool connections there as well. And last but not least, we have Alex Morgan, 2014 graduate here, and she won the Women's World Cup. So really cool. A lot of athletes, a lot of academics here. So really cool.
Thank you so much, Nadine. Lastly, I just want to talk a little bit about some of these campus highlights. For one, we have our fire trails, which I mentioned a little while ago, and they are really wonderful hiking trails. We have Strawberry Creek, which is pictured in the middle on the bottom, and that is one of our 3 living laboratories on campus. So as a student, you may have the opportunity to actually take samples and do research and assignments at Strawberry Creek. There are also tons of hills around campus. The whole campus is built on a hill, which means that many of our buildings have multiple ground floors, and also means that you can have a really beautiful view if you are at the top. There are tons of trees and wildlife, like on the lower left, you can see our eucalyptus grove, and tons of beautiful flora and fauna. There's also a really wonderful mix of urban and rural living here. For example, we are very close by to San Francisco and Oakland, where there are more metropolitan areas, but we also are just a step away from lots of beautiful wildlife and nature, and hiking and camping spots as well. And if you're someone who's into camping, of course, there are things like the Santa Cruz Mountains and Yosemite that are a huge asset of California too.
All right, everyone. Thank you, Mai-An and Nadine, for such an amazing overview of campus. Thank you both so much for taking us on a very lovely journey of UC Berkeley virtually. And so now, folks, we are going to enter our live Q&A portion. So if you haven't had a chance, please feel free to type questions into the Q&A feature so that we can answer them live. And then for those that we can't get to, we are also going to be answering them on the back end. But to start us off, I would really like to know from Mai-An and Nadine, for somebody that maybe is visiting this campus this week, but maybe can't get on one of our in-person tours, like what's any personal favorites of your spots on campus that you really enjoyed to just be at, maybe like study at? Like, what are some of your personal favorites around the campus?
Oh, I would say my personal favorite, one, just being out and about. I really like Strawberry Creek, especially like the class of 1910 bridge. That one is like such a shady spot, but like it's still warm there and there's a lot of like wildlife. But when I'm studying, I like to go to Eshelman just because there's not a lot of people there. I know I'm exposing more the places now, but like once you go here, I'm telling you guys, this is a spot for you to study.
I would say one of my favorite spots, which isn't actually on campus proper, but I would highly recommend checking out, is the UC Berkeley Botanical Garden. It's just up the hill. You can even take one of our campus shuttles to get there, and it is really so truly gorgeous. I think it's a wonderful resource that we have nearby.
Thank you both so much for sharing that. To give my little insight as well, my personal favorite building is Berkeley Way West. People are like, "What's Berkeley Way West?" That is actually where a couple of our departments are housed, but mainly our School of Education, which is actually where my school is housed because I'm a student in the School of Education currently, and I love that building. It's like a very modern building, but also our Department of Psychology is there, Public Health, and also there's a couple of like offices that are in there of businesses, and a couple of them include, I believe, Microsoft is in there, which is super cool. But yeah. Thanks, y'all, for sharing that. I really am also curious about this really good question we got about civic engagement on campus. So for Mai-An, Nadine, but also like, yeah, for Mai-An and Nadine and myself, like just what are some opportunities for civic engagement on campus, like getting involved with like the state government or maybe the local Berkeley city government, like at kind of like within UC Berkeley? What are some of the opportunities for students to get involved politically on campus or off campus as well?
Yeah, sure. So there's a lot of opportunities for you to get involved politically. There's also like a lot of student organizations. I don't know if this was mentioned, but yes, we do have a lot of like within the 1,200 organizations. We also have like a lot of political movements here and there as well. And we also have another like kind of internship opportunity, the UCDC program, where you can actually go to DC and just get more involved with like politics and also a lot of those movements as well. And you can always go to like volunteer with a lot of organizations outside of campus as well. Berkeley is definitely like a place for you to explore your political interests. We are at like I feel at the very top when it comes to like political direction and stuff. So this is definitely like a hot spot for many ideas to be presented and also get involved with politics as well.
As someone who's local, I can always attest to, campaigning with our local governments. But also a really great resource is the California Public Interest Research Group, or CalPIRG. It is a student-run group on campus, which is really focused on advocacy. And if you check out their webpage, they have tons of different examples of the types of great work they do, which I would highly recommend if you are someone who's interested in becoming more civically engaged on campus.
And I can absolutely attest as well to the political advocacy here on Berkeley and getting civically involved too, just with our student government, even our ASUC, which is our associated student body that represents the nearly 33,000 undergraduates that we have here at Berkeley. I personally was involved in the ASUC for a couple of years. And then I have actually a couple of friends that are now elected senators, including one of our fellow ambassadors who was a senator this past year, who represented students that were interested in ecological conservation and also with like eco policy, environmental policy. And so those are a couple ways to get involved. And then also I have one of my roommates actually is interning with our city council, one of our city council members who represents actually Berkeley students, representing the district that most Berkeley students live on, which is the South Side neighborhood of Berkeley. So highly recommend, ton of different ways to get involved. Regardless of major two, you don't have to be necessarily in like say political science to get involved with our civic engagement opportunities. They're open to just everyone, which I think is super cool. Awesome. Couple things about a really great question as well about like getting more into the academic based clubs on campus. What was kind of like Mai-An and Nadine, what are your experiences with kind of our academic based clubs here on campus? Is it hard? Is it good to get into clubs, or just what is club culture like in general on Berkeley's campus with through the organizations maybe you all are involved in as well?
Yeah, I would say there's a lot of like academic based clubs and also programs here, like coming from Berkeley. So personally, not right now, I'm not really much involved with academic based clubs, but with EOP, like basically that's your educational opportunity program that serves a lot of like the first generation and also like low income families and students coming from those families. They offer a lot of like actually like visits to offices. So they just visited like an actual like I believe it's like a bank office in San Francisco, one of their headquarters. And they have a lot of like just like study sessions as well, and a lot of like workshops and portfolios. But yeah, there's a lot of clubs, especially within like my college. There's like the NOMAS, which is basically minorities in architecture. They have a lot of also that academic based like learning workshops, getting, graduate students to check your work as well. So I would say it's actually pretty accessible. There's always a lot of like those programs, academic based clubs as well.
To speak a little more to club culture in general, I can say that joining these kinds of organizations is a really great step, especially for a new student at Cal. Being able to find a smaller community where you can really get to know other people and build familiarity is a great way to not get lost in the sea of students. One of my favorite things, like I mentioned before, is that I think our size is our biggest asset. And because of that, there is really a niche for everyone. There are so many clubs on campus, and you can find ones that are identity-based, consulting clubs, ones that are based around professions or other kinds of organizations. I think it's a really wonderful resource and great to get connected to the other people in your community.
Thank you both, Nadine and Mai-An, for those answers. And I can also speak from my own experience with academic-based clubs, especially because like when I came into Cal, I actually was pre-law, and I had been involved with pre-law organizations. I really liked that too, and they were a really great stepping stone. But it also gave me another perspective into realizing maybe the pre-law track wasn't necessarily what I wanted to do with my time at Cal. And that's also something that was really helpful because it pointed me in the right direction of what I wanted to do, which was going into education. And there actually at Berkeley was no kind of pre-education club, but one of the best things about our club culture and like the clubs on campus that you can make your own club and really find those niches that Mai-An mentioned earlier about making sure that like, you find that community here at Cal. And even if you at first can't find it within the over 1,200 clubs we have here, it's really easy to make your own. So being a founder of a student club on campus, I will definitely say you really do get to find the community that makes your time here very worthwhile. We're coming actually to the kind of the end of our Q&A portion, but one last question I kind of have for all of us on our front end is just like, what is kind of like a maybe 30-second to a minute version of like, why did you become a Berkeley student? What made you be like, yes to your admissions offer to UC Berkeley? I know for Mai-An and Nadine, it seems it's actually a year ago for both of you, but for me, it's like almost 4 years ago, which is crazy. But what made you choose UC Berkeley ultimately?
Honestly, it was really simple, but like it being close to home, plus it being in San Francisco in the Bay Area, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is definitely like something I should take on because I'm just gonna be close to home and accessing these many resources, these many like, connections here in Berkeley. Like we're working so closely with a lot of companies here in the Bay Area that it's basically like a pearl, like it's a place filled with a lot of treasures. So this is basically why I chose it. And the transportation, there's so much accessible transportation here with when it comes to buses. I don't have a car, so yeah, my dad was like, "Yeah, just go here. Like you're gonna use the bus a lot." And I really love the bus system here, I would say.
Yeah, to kind of build off of what Nadine just said, I will say for one, the transit was a huge part of why I picked Berkeley. I honestly when I looked at schools in my college list, a huge portion of what went into deciding if I applied somewhere was if they had a good public transit system, because it was important to me that I would be able to live and do everything I wanted to do without a car, which I know I can certainly do living in Berkeley. Another huge thing for me is that as someone who's grown up here, had the privilege of being really involved on campus from a young age. For example, when I was in elementary school, I was part of the ID Tech program, which teaches kids how to code. When I was in middle school, I was part of Girls in Engineering, which, as the name suggests, is hosted by the College of Engineering to encourage more girls to get into the engineering field. And in high school, I had the privilege of being part of Embark, which is a program that is held through our College of Environmental Design. And throughout my experience in my life, I've really got to see the vast array of experiences and opportunities that are available to me on campus. And I really wanted to find a school where I could ensure I had as many opportunities as possible. I'm very young, and even if I have an idea of what I want to do, I don't know if that's something I will feel strongly about 2 years from now. But I know Berkeley is a school where if I change my mind, there are plenty of resources for me. And that was really important going into college.
Thank you both, Nadine and Mai-An, for sharing your story. It's always so refreshing to hear kind of like why people choose Berkeley, because it's kind of a big reflection on like on my own perspective too, because I'm a graduating senior. I'm graduating in May, and probably to say I'm a Berkeley graduate, but it's also really reflecting of like my own experience here at Cal, why I chose Berkeley too ultimately, because Berkeley did show me all these amazing opportunities that I could really embark here. And especially as somebody that came from an area where college was not necessarily a priority amongst a lot of people. A lot of my friends couldn't go to college for a lot of different reasons. I was one of the few in my graduating class at high school. And I was like, I'm gonna go to Berkeley. Like, I think I can do it. And I didn't have a lot of folks in my corner that really believed in me, except for my parents, who I'm very grateful for to this day for backing me each and every single day. And being able to come here has been an immense journey. And it's been so a big aspect of my own development too as a young adult. And I think ultimately why I chose Berkeley was because of all the endless opportunities. And even now, as someone who switched into our newest major on campus, which is education, being able to now have that and be able to apply it into the field, because I'm going to be leaving Berkeley and going to my master's, which is crazy to say now. And Berkeley really did show me that I could be an academic and I could be somebody that could make a change in my community. And that's, I think, one of the biggest things about Berkeley too. But thank you everyone so much, from our front end to our back end, and our amazing visitors stay for the Q&A. Let's get our slides back up so we can close this out for the day. Alrighty, folks, our slides are back up and just going to go to the next one really quickly. So if we were unable to get to your question for whatever reason, we have a lot of resources for you here so that you're able to get all your amazing questions answered, especially for our admitted and waitlisted students who are making their decisions on where to choose the next 4, maybe 2 years of your life. We are super excited to just welcome you, hopefully, here to UC Berkeley. So if you're interested in taking another tour of Berkeley, but kind of like a more like less narrative version of the tour, we have our UVisit tour, which is uvisit.com/Berkeley, and that has videos and also is like a 360-degree tour of the entire campus. So you get to kind of sit yourself on the campus and get a 360 view, which is really cool. Please also feel free to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Visit UC Berkeley. And if there were any questions, like I mentioned earlier, that we weren't able to answer today in our live Q&A, or if our back-end team weren't able to answer it on the back end as well, please email tour@berkeley.edu, and a student ambassador will be able to answer your questions on our back end with our tour admin team. You want to get a little bit of more of the know when it comes to the student perspective, you can check out our Bear Talk blog, which is ran by current UC Berkeley campus ambassadors, to read all about student life. I've written for Bear Talk before. A couple of folks on our back end have written for Bear Talk before, and you can find us at beartalk.berkeley.edu. We also have recorded virtual visits available on our YouTube channel at Visit UC Berkeley. So if you're interested in seeing another virtual tour with any of our other amazing virtual tour team members, highly recommend checking us out. We also have some virtual recordings available in Spanish and Mandarin Chinese. So if you would like to see a recording available in that, you're more than welcome to see that as well. There are 2 QR codes at the bottom as well. On your left is for the admissions presentations, which is the admissions full presentation, and you can find that at admissions.berkeley.edu. And lastly, if you'd love to join maybe Nadine, Mai-An, or myself for an in-person campus tour, please feel free to RSVP for a campus tour at visit.berkeley.edu. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say thank you all so much for joining us today. And to close us off, I'm going to have Mai-An and Nadine unmute, and we're going to end with a Go Bears on 3. Are y'all ready? All right. 1, 2, 3. Go Bears!
Bears!
Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your day, evening, or afternoon, wherever you're joining us from, and take care. Bye.